Welcome to our first edition of Inside Harvard Football. Bernie Corbett, the voice of the Crimson, with Harvard coach Tim Murphy. And Coach, I know that now the first game is behind you, and obviously the Ivy opener, the home opener ahead. Before we look at that, a look back, disappointing start with the loss at URI, and as we have talked about it many times over the years, Coach, that Game 3, Game 1 factor seemed to have loomed large with your opponent, Rhode Island.
Well, I thought they did certainly a better job playing, executing, and coaching than we did. And, whether that's having a couple games under your belt or not, I have to give them a lot of credit. We knew they were a much improved team, Bernie. Watching them go to triple overtime against a division team, Central Michigan, a MAC team that scored 50 points and beat Kansas the following week. We had a lot of respect for them, and, that certainly was what we saw on Saturday. Our defense, I thought, at times played very well against some explosive receivers. Offensively, we did some good things, Bernie. We moved the ball. We just need to be more consistent, and specifically in third down and inside the 10. 3 chances to get touchdowns inside the 10. We come away with 1 touchdown. Obviously, you're not going to beat a good football team that way.
You knew the offensive line would be a work in progress, and you're still awaiting to get everybody 100% healthy. And I'm sure that's an area that you're looking for improvement from week 1 to week 2. Penalties was certainly a factor, along with the sacks. Joe was under some duress.
Well, no question. I thought we did some good things on the offensive line, but we weren't as consistent as we need to be, and we certainly had too many penalties. Wasn't happy with our discipline. We had a couple tough holding penalties. We just, did not help ourselves in terms of getting any sort of momentum or consistency, and against a quality opponent, you can't do that.
But bright spots on the offense, Coach, the running game. Charles Booker, the third, with 139 yards. He's got that home run potential every time he touches it. He broke a couple of long ones. And we talked last week about Aaron Champlin and the fact that he'd be an impact freshman, and he certainly seems to be all of that.
Well, yeah, we feel good about the backfield, Bernie, right now. Knock on wood, as good as we felt in a long time. With guys like Charlie Booker, who we think is a special back, not only as a home run threat, but one of the most physical runners in the Ivy League, guy that can gain yards after contact. Champ has done a terrific job for a freshman. He's got a great kind of combination of size, speed, balance, and is also does a good job in the passing game. And then you throw in a guy like L.J. Northington. He and Champ are both Southern California guys, and L.J. makes sort of the ideal third down back because he's got great hands, he's a physical blocker, and he can run the football. But, yeah, that group did well. If we can, keep improving in the offensive line and keep our offense balanced, we have a chance to, I believe, move the football against anybody.
You got Justice Shelton Mosley, 5 catches, Adam Scott with 5 catches, the 2 guys that you expect to lead. But there'll be an emergence of others, particularly with the strong and deep array you have at your hybrid H-back tight end position.
Well, yeah, we've got some new faces there, but certainly with guys like Ryan Antonellis,
yep,
Jack Stanzel, Jake Baran as just a couple of examples. Those guys are very much in the mold. Not to say they're going to be NFL prospects like some of the guys we've had, but, those guys can stretch you deep. They can play a variety of positions, and, they've, in the early going, I'm very ambitious and optimistic about that group.
Mentioned defensively and very strong in the back 7. The defensive line, new faces will be in the defensive line, joining D.J. Bailey. We talked about that also going into the season. But you had some real strong efforts. Tim Hale, back healthy safety position. Anthony Camargo, Tanner Lee, they were all among your leading tacklers.
Well, Tanner Lee's been one of those guys that's just so incredibly dependable, and we certainly rely on him on the back end a great deal. I was happy with our defensive line. There's some new faces there.
Yep.
Guys like senior Stonehart from Olympia, Washington, senior Stuart Johnson from Alpharetta, Georgia, Richie Ryan from Pittsburgh, and, of course, D.J. Bailey from Southern California. But that has the potential to be an outstanding group. We need more depth, but going off the film from last week, that group played well.
Right down to the wire, and you did force the late turnover that gave you a chance. There seemed to be a little bit of confusion with the clock situation at the end that might have cost you play there in terms of the placement. Has that changed at all as far as the placement and the starting of the clock in those first down situations?
Well, it shouldn't necessarily, Bernie, but it obviously looked so at the end of the game. It looked a little bit different, and I'm not sure if you mean the one where they had, had an injury time. We thought it was going to be an injury timeout, and then they didn't do it, and so we took a timeout. So a little bit of
right,
a little bit of a discrepancy there.
Indeed. And looking ahead, the home opener, the Ivy opener, you've had great battles with Phil Estes and the Brown program over the years. They come off a big win last week against Bryant. Your thoughts going in and your expectations about this Brown team. This is a game early in the year that really set the tone for you many times, Coach, in pursuit of the Ivy title.
Well, no question about it. You're going to get Brown's best shot for a variety of reasons. I think the starter is that they're always a good football team. They're always tough, physical. They give you a lot to practice offensively, defensively, special teams, and there's no question, we're their biggest game. Now, you can say that about a lot of the teams we play, but Brown not having necessarily a perennial sort of team that is going to be their nemesis by de facto and by location, we are. So we'll get their best shot. Our guys are excited to play. There's going to be even more sense of urgency and excitement about playing an Ivy opponent. So, to say the least, and obviously we're looking forward to the game.
Nick Duncan, a dual threat at the quarterback position. He had a big week on the offensive side, and they had a couple of All-Ivy players that were recognized. Tompkins all over the field, big impact, and also Richard Jarvis. Any time at any level you get 4 sacks, that's just immense domination up front.
No question. Richard Jarvis is I dare say, one of the outstanding defensive linemen in the league, and he reminds me a bit of Zach Hodges. He's got tremendous speed, the power move. He's got a lot of twitch, and he just plays hard all the time. So he's certainly going to be a guy that we've got to do a good job blocking.
And Duncan is once again dual threat. He had a big game, both running the football effectively, 73 yards, 2 touchdowns, and also through the air.
Yeah, no question about it. Brown seems to crank out quality quarterbacks, guys that can sort of do it all, and it would appear that they have another one.
Indeed the case. Coach, thanks very much for your time. We appreciate you joining us on our new venture here with Inside Harvard Football, and we look forward to talking again from week to week during the 2017 campaign.
Thank you very much, Bernie.
Coach Tim Murphy joining us here with his perspective on Inside Harvard Football. We'll be back. And welcome back once again to Inside Harvard Football and our feature Crimson in the NFL. If you missed it last week, the Chicago Bears and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers matchup featured the appearance of 2 former Harvard football players. Cam Brayton had 2 catches for 28 yards for the Tampa Bay Bucs in their victory over the Bears, and veteran quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick also saw action at the QB position for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in their victory. And incidentally, on the Bears practice squad currently is former Harvard tight end Ben Broniker. And that tight end H-back position for Harvard football, reminiscent of the linebacker position at Penn State over the years, and the 49ers and the Seahawks featured 2 former Harvard H-back tight ends, Kyle Juszczyk and Ed Ott, in a game won by the Seattle Seahawks. We'll have more next week and all during the season, updating Crimson in the NFL. Welcome, everyone, to our first edition of Inside Harvard Football. Bernie Corbett with our first Crimson profile of the season of the current members of the Harvard football team 2017. And we'll go right to the top and begin with the captain, the 144th captain. He has that distinction of Harvard football, Luke Hutton, 6'2", 215-pound linebacker from Austin, Texas. Luke, welcome to the show. Pleasure to have you join us today.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Well, Luke, your road to Harvard coming from a state that is synonymous with football, the state of Texas, Lake Travis, big high school where you were also a senior captain of your high school team. I guess that's probably a good place to start. What about this journey that took you to Cambridge and how that came about?
Yeah, it was, Lake Travis was an awesome opportunity to get experience from really, really awesome coaches and I had the opportunity to play with a lot of really good players. So that helped just learning the game of football from those guys. I can't speak to how I really got here. I think I just tricked someone into thinking I was a little bit better at football and a little smarter than I really was.
Well, it's good. As long as you're fooling them, if you can keep doing that for the next 50 or 60 years, I would say you can look back on a successful life.
Yeah. Well, that's the goal.
You're off to a good start and way too modest. Truth be told, at Lake Travis, you attained some great athletic distinction on the football field, district defensive MVP, all-region, all-district first team, also all-state honorable mention and second team. And no stranger to being a captain. You're the captain of the Crimson. As a senior captain at Lake Travis, you led your team to a 12-2 record. I know you're looking for the same results here for an outstanding year at Harvard.
Yeah, yes, sir. I mean, we're obviously we didn't get off to the start that we wanted. That actually happened my senior year at Lake Travis. We lost our first game against a good football team, and we responded with 12 straight wins. That's the goal this season. Obviously, 9 straight wins, and we have something a little more to play for now than just any one person in the locker room. So I think the guys are ready to go, and we know the tough task ahead of us. But again, I think we're ready to get back on the field this Saturday.
As is often the pattern in college football, you worked your way up the depth chart. You saw action in a half a dozen games as a freshman. As a sophomore, played just about the whole schedule, became more of an impact player. And then last year, all Ivy second team, led the team in tackles. And when I think about you and watching you over the course of the year, Luke, you were a disruptive influence for the Harvard defense, indicative of sacks, tackles for a loss, big stops, fumble recoveries, interceptions. Really, I think, seem to be priding yourself in not only making the plays, but making the big plays at the most opportune times. You had an outstanding junior year to build on this year.
Well, I appreciate that. Really all the success I have on the field is really a reflection of, Coach Larkey and the defenses he runs, the defenses he calls. I mean, I came in my freshman year and was small, undersized, slow, and somehow he molded a little bit and formed me into something that I'm not fast still. I'm still pretty undersized, but it really just reflects how he teaches, how he's able to take what he's got and have some sort of at least give some sort of idea of how to play the game, how to play with great fundamentals, how to be in the right position at the right time. I'm still nowhere near where he wants me to be, but he's just such an awesome coach that any sort of success I have is a reflection of where he puts me on the field.
Coach Lackey, Scott Lackey, your position coach and a former proud member of the Crimson at the linebacker position. And that position, your unit was really reorganized, reinvented last season, and great pride there. Chase Guillory, Jordan Hill, the way that you came together. What about just giving us a little insight about the unit and how you guys function together and have success on the field?
Yeah, I mean, again, it all starts with our coach, our defensive coordinator, Coach Larkey. This group of guys, they really, really love to play the game. There really is no substitute for a group of guys that want to come out to practice every single day, want to get better. We don't have scholarships here. We don't have really too much of an incentive to play, to come out every single day and play like some of these bigger Division I's, Texas, Alabama, where they have scholarships and the guys are really playing because there's some sort of incentive. Here we don't really have that. Really, the reason we play, all of us, is because we love the game of football. And that it's no different with this linebacking group, and they love the game, and you're going to get better if you come every single day wanting to work, wanting to get better, and just playing full speed every single practice.
Yeah, looking at your responsibilities, Luke, moving from the weak side to the strong side, what about that perspective on field as you've made that move for the 2017 season as part of the unit?
Yeah, I mean, it's something I've done, I guess, really throughout my career. I've played outside linebacker my sophomore year in high school, then inside my junior year, and then moved back to safety for my senior year. So it's fun. I get to learn a new position. I get to go through the growing pains. But it also really helps you understand every single position on the field, especially when you got some younger guys that are playing our will linebacker or weak side linebacker position, and you've been there and you've been able to play that, so you can help them with the growing pains. You can help them learn the position a little quicker. So that's always nice to have a feel of really every linebacker position on the field. But at the same time, it's a new opportunity. It's something that I get to look forward to mastering a new position, or at least trying to. I don't think I've mastered any of them, but that's always the goal. And so, yeah, I'd say it's just another opportunity to perform, and to learn a position.
Yeah, looking overall, it's been intriguing to note that the last 13 Harvard captains, and it's always a lone captain that comes out there for the coin toss as part of Harvard tradition, the last 13 have been from the defensive side of the ball, and 5 of the last 7 from the linebacking core, and one of them is a guy that you played under a couple of years back with Matt Curran. What about what you learned from him and the tutelage and the mentoring of guys like him, and then, of course, Sean Ahern, who was an outstanding captain a year ago?
I got to learn from 3 of the best men I've ever met, and it started with Captain Norman Hayes when I was a freshman.
Yep.
At safety. Then it was Matt Curran at linebacker, and then this last year, Sean Ahern. They were so unbelievable as men, as captains, on and off the field. Really, and so I got to learn so much from them. Got to learn how to be a professional. I'm not anywhere near any of those 3 guys, but if I can live up to half of who Matt Curran was as a captain, I'd say I did a decent job. So it just speaks to Coach Murphy and his ability to recruit high character guys. You look on the field and in the locker room, there's so many incredible guys on this team that are so driven and that work so hard and bring you up every single day. You don't really have a choice to come in and give half of your effort. You because every single guy in that locker room is pushing you, won't accept anything less than your entire effort, all your attention. So, it's an incredible opportunity to play for those 3 captains, and I'm looking forward to just trying to live up to what they left behind.
Your teammates, when they refer to you, I think the word that immediately comes to mind is passion for the game, and probably not an unusual occurrence when you grow up in a football hotbed like Texas. What about growing up there? I'm going to go out on a limb and say that you've grown up in the Austin area, that you were a Longhorn fan. Maybe I'm wrong, but certainly a great passion for the sport in the state of Texas, which is certainly renowned.
Oh yeah, well, first of all, I'm a big Longhorns fan. A lot of my roommates make fun of me for watching the game. Still, they say, "Why do you care about other college? The only college I care about is Harvard."
Right.
And I don't know. It's weird. My parents went there, and that was me and my brother share that. So we always text about how they did, and it's been a rough few years, but we're hoping to get back to the top. But yeah, so Texas is it's a pretty remarkable place in the sense that football it means so much. I when people ask me what it's like, I say it's not as Hollywoodized as Friday Night Lights, but it's up there. The movie, the TV show, all of it. People really care about the sport, and it goes beyond just a sport. It teaches you so much about time management, on work ethic, on being able to have some sort of an EQ and not just an IQ. And it teaches you to be able to work with a team. All these things are so important, are so valuable to you as a person and to your career in the future. And it teaches you so much. And I'm so happy to have been from a place that took football so seriously, and then now at Harvard with all these guys on this team. It's really taught me lessons that I would never have learned without the game. And yeah, so I'm just happy to have played and grown up in a place that cared about football so much.
Indeed, life lessons well beyond the gridiron, and that'll take you beyond in your life, beyond football, beyond Harvard. Great athletic family. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention it. Your grandfather, Claude King, played University of Houston, also played for the hometown Oilers in the NFL. And I remember your uncle as a Red Sox fan very well, Kelly Gruber, as a third baseman with the Toronto Blue Jays. A little bit of a thorn in the side of the Red Sox. I remember getting some big hits against the Red Sox. And you also had a brother that played collegiate basketball. So tremendous athletic bloodlines and athletic culture and tradition in your family.
Yeah, I wish I would have got some of Claude and Kelly's genes. I wish I ran a 4.40 and could squat 600 pounds. That would have been nice. But no, in all seriousness, it was great growing up with that sort of pressure, really, to play sports. I mean, I love the family dynamic of, we're on Thanksgiving, we're gonna sit down eating turkey and we're gonna watch football. We're gonna watch professional. We're gonna watch college. We're gonna talk about that stuff. And that was fun hearing all the stories of Claude playing in the NFL, and then all the stories of Kelly playing and all-star games, and my parents babysitting Prince Fielder, and all these cool stories.
Prince Fielder. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was fun to grow up in that house, and again, some people may view that as strange, but sports and football and baseball and whatever you play, basketball, it teaches you so much about life, and I'm just so grateful and thankful that I was able to learn those lessons at a young age.
Prince Fielder, I suspect, was a big kid to babysit. Your parents had their hands full.
Yeah, I think this is one of the All-Star games with his. I think his dad was an All-Star.
Yes. Oh yeah. Yes, indeed he was. That's right.
Yeah. So
Cecil Fielder. That's right.
Yeah, that's where it was.
Indeed. Looking ahead, and ahead is Saturday, and not only the home opener, the Ivy League opener. One of your league rivals. There's been some great battles over the years between the Crimson and the Bears of Brown. Your thoughts as you look ahead? I know you want to put last Saturday behind your non-league opponent, but this is where it gets real in terms of the Ivy League competition and the goal that the Crimson sets every year.
Yeah, we know what Brown brings to the table. We know they're a great football team, tough. That's really the thing that sticks out on film over the past few years is how hard they play, how tough they are. And as a defense, they have so much offense that you could spend a few weeks preparing for them, and you still wouldn't have everything covered. So we know the challenges that are ahead of us. We know that this is for the Ivy League championship. Our goal is 1-0 every single week, and especially when it's an Ivy League game. And so that's our mindset. That's our attitude coming into this game. It's 1-0. This is the only thing that's important right now. And we may have some weather. We may not. It shouldn't matter. I think the guys are ready to get back on the field and sort of redeem ourselves from last week. But we're ready. We're excited for the atmosphere that Brown brings and all their fans, and sort of this rivalry because we're so close to one another.
Well, Luke, I want to wish you luck moving forward this Saturday and beyond during the 2017 campaign, leading the Crimson as the captain. And really a pleasure to have you join us this week on our first edition of Inside Harvard Football.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I appreciate that, and thank you for having me on.
Luke Hutton, senior captain out of Austin, Texas, at the linebacker position for the Harvard Crimson, getting ready for the Brown Bears here on Inside Harvard Football. Luke.